Week 1, solving a linear equation. Now, we started this topic in the last video. In these equations, we're going to need to utilize this first step that we talked about back on the last page. When you are solving a linear equation, the first step is to simplify and combine like terms on each side of the equation. Now, we didn't have to do that on the problems that we worked on in the past 3 videos, but we are going to need to do it on these problems because there's things going on each side that need to be taken care of first. So let's look at this first example. We have 3, I'm going to write it bigger, times the quantity 4x minus 1 equals 7 minus 5x. Look at the left side of this equation. We have parentheses and something outside that wants to get multiplied. This needs to get simplified. Reason is because we can't really start undoing until we have the parentheses gone. That way we can start with an equation that looks more like this one that we did over here without the fractions. So let's take a look at distributing this 3 into the parentheses, because I can't add the 4x, I can't subtract the 1 from 4x. They're not like terms. So the best I can do to get rid of the parentheses is to go 3 times 4x minus 3 times 1 and get rid of the parentheses. 3 times 4x is 12x, 3 times 1 is 3, and put the minus sign back in between them. So I use the distributive property to simplify this side. Bring down the other side now. The other side is as simple as it can get because these two terms are not alike and these two terms are not alike. So now we're ready to solve because everything's as simple as possible. Alright, order of operations, addition or subtraction, multiplication or division, exponents, parentheses. Order of operations backwards, that is. So I'm going to undo any addition or subtraction. So I could either add 3 on this side or add 5x on this side. I'm going to try that. I'm going to just for something different, we're going to get rid of the x term first. So I'm undoing subtract 5x by adding 5x. What I do to one side of my equation I absolutely must do to the other side too. And where do I do it? I do it under the 12x because these two are like terms. Notice I have twins. Always be checking. Do you have twins when you do an operation to each side? Now working from left to right, it says to do 12x plus 5x. That's 17x, and then bring down minus 3 because you haven't done anything with that yet. Put your equal sign on the wall, bring down the 7, you haven't done anything with that yet, and these two guys are gone. Minus 5x plus 5x undoes each other and you get 0. Alright, let's look for our next step. There's nothing to do with this side of the equation, so I'm not going to look there. Let's look over here. Again, undo any addition or subtraction. So I'm going to undo minus 3 by going plus 3. And I know I can do that because I've got a plain number over here also. Alright, on the left side, 17x. 3's are gone. Minus 3 plus 3 makes 0. On this side, 7 plus 3 is 10. Now I have the sentence 17 times some mystery number equals 10. Well, offhand I can't think of anything in my head that I multiply 17 by to get 10, so I need to continue my undoing steps. Remember, this is times. How do I undo times? I undo times with divide. So how do I undo 17 times x? To get rid of the 17, I divide both sides by 17. That'll get the x alone. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. The 17's make 1x. We're too lazy to write the 1 down. And on the other side, we have 10 17ths. Now you can take your calculator and do 10 divided by 17 if you'd like to have a decimal. And that would be about 0.588. But I don't need a decimal from you. I'm just happy with the fractions. But these two answers, this would be close because I had to round it. This is an exact answer, this is an approximate. This is the one I actually prefer because when you're checking these answers, if you want to check it in your calculator to see if it makes a true sentence, the fraction is going to give you exact answers on both sides. Alright, let's go to the next problem. And again, we're going to need to do some simplifying before we can solve it. I'm going to recopy it larger. And be careful when you're recopying equations that you get all the right signs. Okay, again, we need to simplify, and this time on both sides. On this side, we're going to want to get rid of the parentheses. So I can't add the x and the 3, so instead I'm going to have to multiply the 4 with the distributive property by both things inside. I'll get 4x plus 12. Right? Now on the other side, I have to be really, really careful. I can't subtract 3x from 5, but I can get rid of these parentheses by subtracting both things inside, by distributing the subtraction sign to both the 5 and the minus 3x. Remember how to do this? I write down the 7, and then it's subtract 5, and I have to think about this as the opposite of subtract 3x, or subtract a negative 3x. Subtract in a row makes add. We should be well versed at that by now from our earlier units. So this ends up being simplified so far as 7 minus 5 plus 3x. But we're not done yet, because look, you've got like terms on this side. Again, your steps are to simplify and combine like terms on each side. So this side is as simple as it can get. I'm just going to write it down. I can't add the 4x and the 12. But over here, I can do this. I can do 7 minus 5 because they're both plain numbers. And that makes 2 plus the 3x. Now I'm finally ready to solve this equation. It took all these steps first. Each side is as simple as possible. Time to solve. Wavy line down the equal sign. Undo any addition or subtraction. Your choice. I could undo the 12 plus 12, or undo minus 2 or minus 3x. Doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to start here. As long as you're doing the opposite, and as long as you're doing it on both sides. Notice where I wrote the minus 12 on this side, under the plain 2. Can't take it away from 3x because they're not like terms. Cross out the 12s. They're gone because I did the opposite operation. Make sure you've got opposites here before you cross these off. Bring down 4x, put your equal sign on the wall. 2, subtract 12. Read it from top to bottom. It's not 12 take away 2, it's 2 subtract 12. Taking a bigger number away from a smaller number, I subtract the two numbers, and the sign will be negative because the larger number is negative, and I get negative 10. Check it with your calculator whenever you're in doubt. Alright, plus 3x. Okay, going to the, I can't do anything with this side of the equation, so don't go there. Go over here. Again, undo any addition or subtraction. Can I undo minus 10 by adding 10? No, because I can't add 10 to 4x. But I can undo plus 3x by going minus 3x. And what I do to one side, notice the minus sign in front, twins. I get 1x equals negative 10, because these guys are gone. I have opposites here. I'm done, because 1x is just x. I've found the answer to what value for x will make the two sides of this original equation equal. This one's easy to check quick, so let's check it. Negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. Negative 10 in there for x, plus 3 is negative 7. Negative 7 times 4 is negative 28. Let's try the negative 10 on the other side. 5 minus 3 times negative 10. That's like doing 5 plus 30. That's 35. 7 minus 35. That's like 35 minus 7, but negative. And indeed, it's negative 28. Alright, you don't always have to check these, but if you want to, you can if you're taking a test or a quiz.